everybody's time. People can jump on as they do.
Okay.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'd like to start off. It's my pleasure to introduce to all of you. You're the leaders of District 5440, but I'd like to introduce our newest leader. Steve Sainert is here. He is our new district governor nominee designate. And
Hey, Steve.
he has just been named by the nominating committee, and his name was exposed, and I just sent it to Rotary International. So Steve, welcome to the team.
Well, thank you very much, Chris, and I'm honored to be to have been chosen, and I'm really looking forward to getting back to being more involved with this district, and it's going to be an exciting time for all of us.
Great. Steve is from the Rotary Club of Steamboat Springs and has got a long biography in Rotary, so he's going to be a wonderful district governor come 2023-24. He'll follow Lee. So we've already scooped him into the line of people that we are talking with, and he's joining us now in decision making. So we've got another year in the line now. So I'm really pleased.
Well, and we're really excited about having a district conference again here in Steamboat. It'll be 11 years since we did the last one. So we've got a conference chair and a co-chair, and we're raring to go.
Good deal. That'll be wonderful. Well, thanks for putting your name out there, Steve, and we're looking forward to working with you.
Thank you, Chris.
All righty. Okay. Let's see. Where are we? I think, well, we just wanted to say hello to all of the assistant governors that are here and all the presidents that are here. I've seen several that have come in now. Jillian's here, and I saw Janet from up in Estes Park. John Marshall's here. John Brown's here from Lander. It's good to see you. Let me see. Oh, I see past District Governor Ken Small is here from Jackson. It's good to see you, Ken. Thanks for being here. We've got some things, we're kind of at a point right now where we're talking about things coming up in the future. So one of the things that I know will be a lot on people's minds as we're talking is what's going to be happening with pets. And so I'm going to turn that over to District Governor-elect Cherie Shield just to give you a status on what we know right now as far as pets. So Cherie.
Good morning. Well, the truth is we don't know a lot yet. That the committee is working hard. There's several committees that are trying to pull together the virtual component. Right now, we are trying to firm up the date on that. And so we should have an announcement for sure, whether there will be an in-person component or not, and for sure what date it will be for the virtual. Hopefully by the 1st of December, that announcement will go out to you guys. So I just want to keep you guys in the loop because I know that all the president-elects are excited to go to that and need to start getting that on their calendars. So
great. That
announcement will be made by December 1st.
Great. Any questions for Cherie on that? I can't remember. See, we do this every couple of months or every month. I don't remember if we talked about where we were on our analysis of visioning and the project that the district is undertaking to revamp our visioning program. We have had a subcommittee working on that and have made some decisions about the way that's supposed to go. That's another one of Cherie's projects as the district governor-elect. Cherie, you want to just bring everybody up to date on where we stand with visioning and that revamping project?
Sure. I think that we last time maybe weren't quite so far along. So what we have now is we have hired Mountain Sage Consulting, Mark and Leslie, to do to work with our committee. So we have a new committee chairperson, and they're going to basically go through, keep the parts of it that were working for the clubs, and then give us a more streamlined process. We're working on making there be a virtual component to that so that we can do that visioning on Zoom or another platform with the clubs. And I know that the zone and the zone's visioning team has been working hard on some new materials, and they're just about ready to roll those out to us. And then Mark and Leslie's plan is to take that material that they roll out and adapt that for our district, and then just make sure that we have a really solid plan for getting clubs started with the visioning process, and then taking them all the way through the completion of having a working strategic plan. And then our plan is to to check in with the clubs periodically and see how that visioning process is going, how the strategic planning process is going. And then even once they have their strategic plan in place, to make sure that they're reviewing that each year, hopefully before pets is kind of what we're thinking right now. So
Great. Anybody have any questions for Cherie on what's going on with that? That's been a big effort to try to get something that's going to be a little bit more sensitive and nimble for clubs to use as we go forward. And Cherie has been leading the charge for all of us on strategic planning and doing some strategic planning at the district level as well as at the club level. And since we're all kind of taking a bit of a pause this year, this is a good time to be thinking along those lines. Cherie, did you want to throw anything else in on that?
No, but we are kind of making progress towards the new district strategic plan as well. We're going to just revamp that, and then we'll work with Kelly to make sure that everybody has access to that. So we're
Very
just at
good.
the very beginning of that, but I'm sure you'll be hearing more about that as the time gets closer.
Wonderful. Thank you, Cherie. Appreciate that. Lee Vera Nelson, you're on the call, I think. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about relative to membership and your work as the membership chair for the district?
Thanks, Chris. Couple things. There's going to be another district-wide get together for presidents and membership chairs at the end of January. I'll work with Kelly's at probably in a month to start sending notifications out. This is going to be a follow-up to the panel that we had in the fall assembly and the information that we shared. I want to continue to do this on a quarterly basis, getting together with the membership chairs and the club presidents to talk about challenges within their club, do some best practice sharing, and find out proactively what we can do to help clubs who are having concerns about retaining their members due to the changes in the meetings that we've had because of the pandemic. I know it's been a huge stress on club members to not be able to meet in the venues and the style that they'd like to, and also the financial burden that's been occurring. And so we've been trying to pass along information to membership chairs and club presidents on how to help that. I want to start engaging the AGs, because you guys are a lot closer to these clubs. You can help me understand what we can do to help out. So in the next 3 weeks, I'll probably be sending a meeting request out to you so I can meet with all of you to ask for your help and your guidance in what's the best way to help these clubs, what are some ideas that we can offer up, and any other options that you guys have been thinking about. The other thing I wanted to let everybody know is that I have an amazing club advocate for our Passport Club, and I think he's on the call. Chuck Rutenberg has been involved in Passport Club clubs for quite a while. He was actually the person that introduced me to the concept a couple years ago. And we are in the process of creating a Passport Club. There is a couple of folks that are very, very interested in this. And for all of you who aren't really familiar with Passport Clubs, this is a club that is not limited to a geographic location. We can have members in a Passport Club from anywhere within the district or outside of the district. This Passport Club has folks that are leading the way, who are interested in not only international projects and potentially some community service projects, but they're awesome about the knowledge that they have with grant writing. And so we're moving forward with that concept of not only being able to share information and knowledge about grant writing, but getting people involved in some international projects that may not have the time to join a club that is located in a location here within 5440. So it opens up a lot of opportunities for us to bring in people who have a passion for making changes in the world, and they want to get involved in international project. They also want to learn about grant writing. They may not have the time to attend a club meeting, so a Passport Club is a really good option for something like this. There's no set meetings that they have to attend. They get points for doing things within their communities or within the Passport Club. And I think this will give us an opportunity to bring in maybe some people who wanted to join Rotary and they couldn't because of timing issues or because of travel. And so I'm looking forward to continuing to get some updates from the team and work with them as best I can as they're going through and developing this club. And if you have any questions about Passport Clubs, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And if you have any knowledge of some wonderful folks out in the area who wanted to join and did not have the time, or perhaps belonged to a club and due to some job changes or whatever, they had to drop the club, please let me know, because these are people who we know have a passion about Rotary, and we'd really like them to get involved with us.
Great. Thank you, Lee. Appreciate that. I want to just stress for everybody also that the goal of the Passport Club is not to pull existing Rotarians out of their own club that they're geographically located, unless they were going to be leaving that club anyway. The real focus of the Passport Club is to look for folks that are not currently Rotarians, or may have been Rotarians or have been interested in Rotary, but to try to give them a new channel back into Rotary that may not have been there before. And that's definitely in keeping with one of the strategic priorities for Rotary, is that new channel back into Rotary. So that's really where the focus is. There may be a core group that are existing Rotarians that want a little bit different Rotary experience, but the goal is not to poach existing clubs. It is to reach out to folks that are not part of Rotary now and get rid of some of that geographic barrier. So I just wanted to clarify that for everybody, because that has been a question before. And Chuck, I'll throw it over to you.
Yeah, I just want to emphasize that, this came out of Rotary International about 3 years ago, when they started talking about how do we make it easier for people to become Rotarians and have an easy entry point into Rotary. And, I've been talking to clubs in Canada and the US who've been doing this for a while. And what they found is the concept is, this club won't do any of their own community service projects because the people are spread out through the district. It's a district club. And so what they're encouraged to do is get involved in the local club projects. And what they found is people do that and they start to make a connection with Rotary and Rotarians in your club. And eventually a lot of them leave the Passport Club when they can afford to do that time-wise and actually become members of a local club. So it's a way to make it easy to bring them in, let them learn and about Rotary, make connections, and hopefully become local club members in the future.
Great. Thank you, Chuck. Cherie, there was something that you just sent to me in the chat about talking about a new form of leadership meeting going forward. Would you like to just talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So what I am thinking about doing in lieu of this meeting next year is setting up a meeting with each of the assistant governors and then their presidents, so that there's a smaller group. Maybe we can get a little bit deeper into the conversation, do membership check-ins and see if there's issues. Is that something that you guys would be interested in as an AG or a president? I'm not in gallery view, so okay, go ahead. And Maureen's saying yes. Albin says yes. It sounds good. Oh, there's Veryl. Perfect. Or Verlin, sorry. I think it would be a helpful model. mostly so that we can get a little bit deeper with that check-in, and it'll also help you guys sort of solidify that. And I don't think we need to do those monthly. I'm thinking quarterly. Do you think that would be often enough? Quarterly meeting instead? Okay. Oh, Robin is saying, I like the hybrid of both of these. I appreciate the small group aspect, but I also like being able to connect throughout the district. Oh, that's true. So maybe if we did like one quarterly meeting like this, and then one quarterly meeting with just you guys on an offset month or something, would that be better? Okay, I'll do that. So I'm going to send each assistant governor an email then, and we'll just try to get those scheduled so that you guys know and the presidents know for next year roughly when those will be. If you're already doing that, then just respond back that we do those on the first Monday at 10 o'clock, and then I can just join you for one that you're already doing. And I think that'll be helpful. Does that sound good for you guys? Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Sheree. Appreciate it. Chuck, was there anything you wanted to report on as the foundation chair?
Yeah, I wanted, Chris, I wanted to go over that foundation report, the club report that I could provide to the assistant governors.
Please do, sir.
Kelly, can I share my screen from here?
I'm not sure if I have this meeting set up for you to share.
Can you make him a co-host, Kelly?
Yep.
He can share it if he's a co-host.
Okay.
Okay. So let me bring this over. Having two screens confuses me. This is the wrong one. What did I just do?
That is helpful information though. Thank you.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, well, I'll share that with you in a minute if we can do that. Okay, here we go. I'm lost. Okay, so my thought was, let me go through this. And this is an actual club report I used working with that club last week. And you can see this is through October. So
Chuck, you're still on polio.
Still on polio, Chuck.
why am I on the, that's on the other screen. Oh,
This is why we have them sent to me.
let me figure out what's going on here. Let me close this, stop that. Let me come back here now and try and share again. Maybe I'll just kill my other screen. That'll help. Okay, so this is what I want to share. Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so you can see where I blacked out the name of the club. When you look at this, the name of the particular club will be there. It'll say like Rotary Club of Fort Collins and give the club number. And if you look over here on the left-hand side, what it shows is the annual goal for the year and 4 previous years. So you can see where this club has been going with their goal every year. It also shows the annual fund contribution each year. So you can see here that in 2017-18, they had a goal of 3,500. They actually contributed 4,500. So you can see the trend of their giving for the club. In addition to that, you can see what's going on with their membership here in the middle on the right-hand side. So this club has gone from 36 members to 16 over that 5-year period. So you can correlate giving, if there's a drop in giving, you can correlate that maybe with a drop in membership. And then over on the side, it gives you total contributions, which includes, contributions to the polio fund, contributions to specific global grants if they do that. But what we key on is the annual fund, because that's what gives us money for future years to work on grants. It also gives you a 5-year look of the giving per capita. So you can actually see what's going on per capita here. You can see this club right now, their annual fund through October, they've only contributed 340 with a goal of 3,700. So I would suggest that their club is not getting their distributions into the foundation. It also gives you a rundown here of every Rotarian every year members, sustaining members, and Paul Harris Society eligible for the 5-year period. So what I would suggest is, and what I'm suggesting is I send this report to the assistant governors every quarter. So I would send, if you have the Rotary clubs, I would send you the 4 Rotary Club individual reports like this, so you could work with the club presidents and sit down with their board and say, you know, we see this is what's going on with your foundation giving and your goals. Here's what's going on with your membership. What can we as a district do to help you? And remind them for things like, you know, I talked to one club yesterday that I'm actually going to be talking to on Tuesday, where they're doing great on their annual fund contributions, but they haven't put a goal into Club Central. And so I've gone back and asked them could they put in their annual goal? And so these are the things you could do to work with the clubs and their board to bring some value to the clubs. And so with that, I'm going to leave it open to questions you may have. And I'll leave this up just in case I have to go back to this.
Right. Thanks for sharing that report, Chuck. Anybody
I
have
guess I'd
questions?
want to hear from the AGs. Is this something you think would be helpful in working with your clubs?
Yeah, it's a good report.
The one question that came up when I talked to the club president or the DG line the other day is, you know, do you want this to go to you and your club presidents? And the question is, would your club presidents be comfortable having the other clubs in your area see what they're doing? And I don't know the answer to that. You have to answer that. I don't really have the time to send out 53 emails to the club presidents, but I will send them to the AGs once a quarter with their clubs.
Chuck, this is John Brown from the Lander Club.
Yeah, John.
Honestly, all the club presidents should be familiar with how to get to this and see this report on their own, frankly.
I'm not sure if they can see the foundation reports, John, can they?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Okay.
I can see my club's report and I check it regularly because I need to know where we are with our goals. So, you know, I check this regularly and you know, it looks like we're going to hit our $8,500 goal. So, yeah, all the club presidents should know where this report is and should know how to get to it. It's kind of buried a little bit, but it's there and you can find it.
My guess is most of the presidents don't know this report exists, to be honest with you.
Well, you know what? How about this? How about maybe one of the club presidents, if nobody else wants to do it, I'll do it. I'll create a tutorial with a screenshot by screenshot way of how to get to it. And then you can send out the tutorial and you know, it might be just, I don't know, might be a little presentation, like a PowerPoint presentation or maybe a 4 or 5 page document with some screenshots, you know, a step-by-step way to get to it. I mean, it wouldn't take me, but, you know, maybe an hour or so to put together.
You know, I think that would be great, John. And actually, this may be a great thing to send to the AGs and let them have maybe a Zoom meeting with their individual presidents all together.
Sure.
To talk through it and actually help build that bond with the AGs.
Sure.
Great.
Comments?
I really like this idea, but I guess I would say from an AG's an assistant governor's perspective, I think just walking through with the presidents, you know, where it is, but also how to use it and then how we can build up those numbers and giving them that support, not just, you know, where the report is and what it says, but here's what you can do from the ground up. And that's where AGs can help. So I kind of like a hybrid, but it's nice to have that report on hand. And Chuck, I would appreciate having it for my clubs and then being able to take it back to them and walk through it with them.
Okay. Well, what I'll do is, John, if you'll put that together and send it to me, I can send it to the AGs along with their club reports as of the end of November and let them take it from there. Does that
All
work,
right, I'll
Julie?
work on it this weekend and I'll send it to you.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate it. I just
glad.
got a message from Past District Governor Martin Lindbergh, who just left a Zoom meeting that was with the Rotary head or the Rotary Foundation head, Eric Schmelling. Martin, do you want to share that new pilot that you're talking about on the chat?
Okay, you mean orally now?
Yes.
Oh, sure. Well, I thank you very much, Chris. I was unaware that the Rotary Foundation, the board of directors of RI, were considering ways to flatten the leadership structure of RI worldwide, in view of the fact that there's been so many changes in the world, and it seems that the structure of Rotary's leadership has grown and grown and grown. In fact, something I had said earlier at another Rotary meeting, I think Rotary is groaning with governance. There's so many levels between the member and the leadership that it's gotten in the way of the effectiveness of the commitment of service above self. Well, the bottom line is they announced something I had not known of, that there will be 100 Rotary districts in the world chosen to pilot some of the new leadership, some of the new organizational structure that is being considered. And I'm so impressed by the leadership of this district these days, and I believe that Rotary District 5440 should consider being one of those pilot districts. How would you do it? I think expressing interest directly to the RI board, the sooner the better, would give us a leg up in being able to pilot some of these ideas that are being considered.
Okay.
So I offer that to you. The timing was great because, as I say, I just got off the Zoom meeting, and here you are meeting now. So
Great.
I'll turn off my mic, and I hope that you will give this some careful consideration. Thank you.
I
Can
appreciate
I
you
make a
about that.
proposal, Chris?
Do what?
What if the executive team and then also Martin stays on after this call, and we can talk about what exactly those changes are, and if that's something we want to be a part of, because I'd like more information about that.
I would too. Okay, we'll do that. Thanks, Cherie.
If we can just hang out after the meeting, that would be great.
Sounds good. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you, Martin, for that. I'd like to kind of go around and hear from the club presidents that we've got on the call with us this morning and see what's going on in their worlds. So I'm going to come along and see who I find first. How about Brent Lathrop from Cheyenne? They just had a great big thing happen. Is Brent still on the call? Oh, Robin, is he gone?
He had to leave.
Okay.
I can update. We've had a lot of great, in Rotary Club of Cheyenne, we've had a lot of great things happening. We got a $100,000 grant from Microsoft, specifically to put in about 50 new gutter bins in downtown Cheyenne. So that's a project to clean up stormwater for Crow Creek. And so that's been super exciting and fun to work with our local stakeholders with that. We've used part of our district grant money to on a project to coordinate with Array, which is a coding school, and have that classes free for any Rotarian or Wyoming students. So if your club hasn't gotten that information yet, and you would like to have that promoted within your community, please let me know or let Brent know, and we'd be glad to help push that out. We're also using part of our district grant money to supplement and revive the Cheyenne Arboretum. Recently they did groundbreaking on a new national cemetery in Cheyenne, and our Arboretum is right next to that. And so the big goal is at some point to possibly have some sort of Rotary contemplative space, whether that's benches and trees or whatever that might look like. But right now we're working on trees, so we're working with that. I do have a question for the group. One of the things that we're grappling with after the election is we have our U.S. Senator scheduled to present to our club. And I just wanted to see what what other clubs are doing to make sure that in the times of divisive nature of an election, and especially this one where it just doesn't ever seem to get over, how you guys are handling any sort of elected official, political official type of a program. So if you've got any suggestions on that, you can feel free to put them in chat, and we don't have to have them with everybody taking up everybody's time. But that's the most of what Rotary Club of Cheyenne's doing.
Great. Thank you for that update, Robin. That's wonderful. And I'm just so excited for everything that the Rotary Club of Cheyenne is getting going. That's just awesome. And that grant from Microsoft is tremendous. So that's great. Judy Fossum, you want to tell us about one of the other clubs in Cheyenne?
Sure. Hi, it's nice to see everybody. Yeah, we had a very, very good produce project again this year, our 5th year. This is probably old hand for some people, but we donated, or we didn't donate, but Grant Miller Family Farms donated, and we were able to help distribute through Needs Incorporated almost 10,000 pounds of produce to those in need across Laramie County. We did 10 weeks of volunteers and community volunteers, Rotarians, people who just heard about it and wanted to help. Everybody masked up, gloved up, and away we went, and it was pretty turnkey from what we've had other years. We were able to, last week, we just finished distributing our 2nd grade Andy and Elmer books to the Southern Triad of Laramie County District 1 in cohort with Cheyenne Rotary, who did the rest of the district and actually all of Laramie County. So we got that done. And we have our Jingle Bell Jaunt coming up on the 5th of December, and it is both a virtual and an in-person socially distanced 5K. I'll put the registration in the chat here quickly. And then I have a question on, and maybe I joined a little bit late, maybe this was already covered, but my question is about RILA. If that is something that is going to be moving forward in 2021. And I know that the camp building is in Estes Park, and I was wondering if that was okay in the fire.
Judy, I've been in touch with Karen Tressler, who is the current president of Rocky Mountain RILA, and they are planning for the event to happen this summer. Everything is fine in Estes Park. Fortunately, the snow came and kind of stopped the fire before it did a lot of damage in Estes Park. They are going forward with their planning. Young RILA will not be happening in Larkspur, Colorado, as it has happened in the past. They don't have the relationship with the facility anymore. I believe at this moment they are negotiating with the Snow Mountain Ranch Y Camp up in Grand County for young RILA, and then senior RILA will be at Estes Park for this year. So as things go forward, they will be getting out information to the clubs to go forward so that people can do their RILA selection and all the rest of it. And they've held all the money in RILA that was paid last year that clubs had already sent in for tuition. And so many clubs have a credit balance ready to go for this year. But they do plan to go forward with it. That's depending upon where we are with the virus by the summer.
Good, thank you for that.
Thanks for that question. That's great. John Marshall out in Scotts Bluff. You got anything you'd like to share with us?
Looks like he stepped away for a minute, Chris.
Oh, okay. Jillian up in Steamboat Springs, are you still on? She's there. She's muted. All right. How about Janet up in Estes Park, Longs Peak? Well, everybody's been bashful.
She's talking, Chris. She's just on.
Sorry, low
Oh.
tech here.
There you go. Hi, Janet.
Yeah, we're good. We're continuing with our service projects. We want to thank you all for a governor's grant for our scholarship for next year. So we're doing well. We've got 3 different service projects we're active in. So all good. We are sort of anticipating maybe them shutting down a few things after Thanksgiving up here because of the COVID numbers. We'd historically been a little isolated, but not the case currently. So we'll see what the next couple weeks brings.
Great. And everything's okay after the fire?
Absolutely. We're sort of back to the normal that we were
Okay.
pre-fire. And they've reopened the park. They've closed Trail Ridge for the winter, which they typically do, but
Right.
Bear Lake Road is open, I understand, and you can see some of the burn scars, and that's moving forward. Yeah.
Great. Well, I'm glad things are going
We're
well.
real happy to have clean air.
You bet. It's wonderful. It's great to see you, Janet. Thanks for the
Thanks.
report. Karen Nicholson, are you still on?
I am. Just to follow up a little on Janet's comments, we're also participating in some food distribution. We meet at the American Legion up here in Estes, and they got a grant from Safeway, and so we're going to assist in distributing food that they're actually expanding 5 or 6 days a week from 3, because they'd like to full utilization of that grant. We've also participated in the Community Corner Cafe food distribution a couple of times so far this year. Our club isn't sponsoring this fundraiser, but tomorrow there's a Lake Walk fundraiser for some of our smaller fire departments that's being sponsored by a local, the Mountain Shop, but our club members are encouraged to participate. And then we're also doing, we've had a club member donate Paul Harris points. So we're doing a matching 100, make a donation to RI, we match, that club member matches 100 points. And we've had 10 of those scholarships, if you will, and 9 of those have been utilized so far. So there's still 1 left to go, but that's got that participation moving. And so I'm very grateful to that club member for that. We're seeing some needs in the areas around Estes Park that are still recovering from the fires, namely Glen Haven, Drake, and the retreat. That we're starting to hear some requests come through. And so again, my gratitude to the district for looking for ways to participate in our recovery. We're continuing to keep an ear to the ground as those needs come in and communicate those.
Great. Thank you so much, Karen. And I'm glad things are settling down again in Estes Park. That's good news.
Thanks.
We'll be in touch. Great. I had a question from past District Governor Ken Small about youth exchange, if they're planning to go forward this coming summer. The last time I spoke to Beth Vandewey, who is the head of Cowboy Country Youth Exchange, they are planning to do an exchange come September. That is their goal. They're working with the State Department, but there's a lot of things that have to come into play for this to happen, working with host countries and families. The issue is whether or not the virus will be cooperating at that time, but their plan is to go forward. My suggestion is if you have any specific questions around youth exchange, to get a hold of Beth. She's in the Rotary Club of Cheyenne, and ask her directly, because she will be having the best information about where we are as far as being close to that. So that's great. John Brown, you want to tell us about Lander and what you guys got going?
Certainly. We have a boatload of service opportunities going on. Tonight is the Lander Community Meal. It's at the local Methodist Church, and we volunteer to cook, serve, and clean up. After that, we are the 3rd Friday of every month. So I'm encouraging members to do that. Of course, full masking and social distancing, that sort of thing. So we're doing that next weekend. Well, the weekend after Thanksgiving, there's a couple of things going on. The Salvation Army bell ringing is starting up. So we're going to be participating in that. And several of the City of Lander employees have tested positive for COVID. So they're kind of short. So we're going to make up the difference. We're going to start putting, continue to put up the Christmas lights on Main Street and so forth. So we're doing that. We did stuff like that in the past, where we cleaned up the park out of that ridiculously early snowstorm back in September, where so many of the cottonwood tree branches fell, and we did a lot of cleanup of that. So we're continuing to serve our city, or our town rather, then we have all the other normal things that we do, dictionaries, etc. We're taking advantage of the governor grant. We got a $1,000 governor grant to help with feeding folks in need in Lander, and I'm going to be applying for the remain, that extra $2,000 governor grant as well before the end of December rather. The focus of the Lander Club is pretty much within the Lander community itself. We feel like the best thing that we can do is help those that are immediately around us. And once the virus and so forth gets done and our own community is taken care of, then we'll start looking again at looking at international projects and helping those that need it elsewhere.
Great. Thank you, John. Thanks for that report. Really appreciate everything you're doing up in Lander. It's great. Jillian, I see you're on. You want to tell us how we're doing in Steamboat Springs?
Chris, I just called Jillian and she's actually on another Zoom call dealing with a club issue.
Oh, okay.
And
All
said
right.
she said she would be back to this meeting.
Okay.
So let's wait till her video actually shows up and then you can call on her.
I see her video, Steve, but I'm not
do you?
hearing her audio. That's okay.
Okay. Well, let me call her again, but
Okay. I'll see if John, are you there, Jillian? We don't hear you. Oh, well. John Marshall, you have anything for us, John?
I do, thank you.
You bet.
Let's see, since I was on last, we did have another Rowdy Rotarian event out at our airport where we had a former Rotarian of the Scottsbluff-Gehring Rotary Club, State Senator John Stinner. He was able to join us and pretty much give us his perspective of what's going on in Lincoln, Nebraska. It was very informative. It was informal, and there was a lot of questions and answers. And he is a great individual. We're lucky to have him. He's from Gehring, Nebraska. So having a representative from our area down in Lincoln is very beneficial. And he's always willing to chat with Rotary. He unfortunately is not a current member simply because he spends half his year, if not more, down in Lincoln, but he's always very willing to share and be part of our club whenever he is in town. So that was another successful event. We are preparing to deliver our annual event of delivering dictionaries to all the elementary schools in Scottsbluff and Gehring to the third graders. That's in process right now. Unfortunately, in the meantime, our area has gone up to the red category. So our in-person attendance has dropped drastically, but we are offering Zoom meetings as well as in-person meetings. So we are trying to accommodate for all club members who want to still be active in Rotary to attend in person or via Zoom. We're having attendance is growing in Zoom. It just does not have that same feel to it as an in-person meeting, but we're doing the best we can with it. Our Christmas holiday party is still in process for December, although we're somewhat playing that by ear and getting a pulse from our club of who would actually be able to attend and who would not be. So time will tell on that if we do decide to move forward. Other than that, we're all happy to be alive and keep pressing forward is what we do.
Great. John, thank you for that great report from Scottsbluff and Gehring.
Absolutely.
It's wonderful to hear that things are going well for you. Stay safe out there. It's great. It's good to see you. Thank you. Jillian, do you think we got Jillian, Steve? No, I see her mouth moving, but I don't hear her. Darn it. Technology is great when it works. Are there any other presidents that I've missed that would like to report on what's happening in their clubs?
Hi,
Don't
Chris,
be
this is
shy.
Mark.
Let us
This is
know
Mark.
if you're here.
Yeah, hi, Chris. This is Mark Wyman from the Loveland Thompson Valley Rotary.
Hi, Mark. Welcome.
Hi. So we've been meeting throughout the year via Zoom and outdoor meetings. Larimer County has just restricted, well, I shouldn't say even just restricted, but they've restricted us. And I'm going to redirect. I'm going to share my screen, Chris. I see that you asked for that, but I've been working in the yard, so.
That's all right. There you go. Hey,
Yeah.
looks good.
Yeah. So anyway, we've been meeting throughout the year at Osborne Farm, one of our members outdoors. We've had a combination of both Zoom and in-person meetings throughout the year, weather permitting. Now that the weather is getting colder, we were going to move back indoors, but Larimer County is restricting any events of more than 10 people. I asked them about allowing us to meet, and they have rejected that request. And so we are meeting on Zoom, and I'm getting probably 50% of our members.
Great.
From a club activity, we just wrapped up the Governor's Art Show. We partner with the Loveland Rotary group for that. There was a tremendous change this year because of the pandemic, and we were not allowed to have some of the in-person events that go along with that Governor's Art Show, but we did do online sales, and people were allowed to go on a limited basis into the museum. I think total income was about $131,000, but a large portion of that goes to the artists that actually paint the art. And we're still waiting to hear back the total proceeds that we'll end up getting and split between us and the Loveland Club. The majority of that money will end up going to the Thompson Education Foundation, homeless children's, homeless students fund that they have. We've also donated to a couple of other local needs, including a group that's called Neighbor to Neighbor, that is helping with rent assistance for people that have been put out from the COVID. They're seeing a tremendous increase in people that are out of work and in need for that.
Great.
I do have a question, Chris. I'd like to give you a call later about one funding request we got from one of our members. She does a lot of international work for Russia, but
Yes.
we've had some issues with that in the past. And
Right. Yeah. Go ahead and give me a call. I'll send you an email with my phone number.
okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. It's good to see you. Glad you're here today.
Yeah, we do have one other fundraiser that starts up the 1st of December that's kind of at risk right now. We're around Loveland. We put up hearts every year for Valentine's.
Yeah.
We start those sales. We typically get between $18,000 and $20,000 a year net out of that fundraiser. And we use the Honor Society from one of the local high schools to do the painting. But given the COVID, we're not sure that that's going to happen.
Great. Well, thanks for that.
More to follow.
Good for you. Keep up the good work in Loveland. Thank you. It's just great to hear all the things that Rotary clubs are doing in our district. It's tremendous. Jillian, have you got sound?
Hear me?
Yes. Woohoo!
It took my 11-year-old coming and fixing it.
Of course. Absolutely. How are things in Steamboat?
Well, we just went to Level Red this morning. So we don't have anything going on in person right now, but up until November, we were doing, at least through part of October, we were doing in-person outdoor meetings, but we were also Zooming those, a hybrid. Maureen came to one of them. And then we've moved to all online recently. But we've had some great programs. We took advantage of the person from the Department of State. And so we got a presentation on trafficking, human trafficking, which was quite interesting. We had a gentleman from a racer, sailboat racer, I'm not saying it properly, call in from Australia, and he was engaging. Oh my goodness. I think we could have stayed on for 3 hours that day. All of our in-person fundraisers have been canceled, and we aren't making any plans to do any of them. But one of our big events that we were really going to try and improve this year, several years ago, we started doing, in conjunction with the city, a holiday party that was truly just a community event. It was tubing and hot chocolate and Santa Claus and decorating ornaments. And the city has gradually backed away from that yet they've always received credit for it. So we were really going to try and push that, no, this is a Rotary event now, and really work on our PR for that. And now that has been canceled. But we're in the process right now of revamping that into something more COVID friendly. So we're going to work on getting some carolers together to go and do, not together, I'm sorry, individual carolers for 12 nights that would go to a restaurant, promote the restaurant, sing a song, and we could have a virtual sing along. And then in conjunction with that, doing a raffle for put together of restaurant gift certificates that we would pull on 12/31. So that's a little bit last minute on all of those, but we're having a hard time just shutting everything down for the holidays. Our attendance on Zoom for the last several weeks has been about 65 to 75 people per meeting. So we're getting good attendance there.
That's great.
And I asked Mike Forney last night if he would read for our virtual Santa Claus holiday party. And he's supposed to be in Mexico. And he said, well, there's lots of other spellbinders. And I said, but none of them look like Santa Claus like you. But Chris, now that I'm on this call.
Yeah, I do Santa Claus. Call me.
Maybe we could talk about this later.
Call me. We'll work something out.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, you bet. Thanks, Jillian.
Thank you. Sorry
Thanks
about my technical troubles.
No problems. We all should have 11-year-olds help us do that stuff. That makes a huge difference. Any other club presidents that would like to share anything that's going on? All right, let's hear from some of the assistant governors if they'd like. Maureen, would you like to share with us about Laramie?
Sure thing. My pleasure. Gosh, I can speak for my club. We are moving ahead with Christmas for Kids project here in town. Our need locally is so much more than ever before. And so we will, all of our members will pull together gifts, and they will wrap them and label them, and then we'll deliver them to the program coordinator here in town. And in years past, pre-COVID times, it was a really fun December event where we would come together and play music. Family club members would bring their kids, and we would wrap all these presents. I had the high school top choir come and sing for us, and oh my gosh, it was just a great event. But we're still moving ahead with it, just has a little different interface. And also we are applying for a district grant due December 1st. So we're scrambling to put that together. Our meeting this last week was one of the fire chiefs in town who was in charge of the Mullen Fire. And so he has given us a fairly specific list of items that they need to replenish and help them move forward. And poor fellow was just exhausted. So we really feel his pain. So we hope to get that grant to help them move ahead with that. Other than that, our all the clubs are still online and doing that, and our contingency is about half, I would say, maybe more like a third. Primarily the board members.
Yeah.
Faithful board members.
There we go.
Yeah, we're doing all right. I hope to see numbers move down because all our students have been asked to leave campus and go home.
Okay. Yeah.
And yeah. So thank you for asking.
Thank you, Maureen. Appreciate it. Albin, up in central Wyoming, how are things?
Fantastic. Very similar to most things. Everybody's gone virtual. The Reveille Club actually has better attendance at their virtual stuff than they do in their physical stuff. They do extremely well with that. Five Trails has has been a little lower, but then a couple weeks ago they had a really great one. So just fantastic attendance. So it hasn't been bad. Monday, I haven't heard how well their attendance has been since going back to it, but it sounds like there's a good chance that they're all going to be virtual through the end of the year.
Right.
I know they're all virtual through into
President
December.
Lisa doing okay?
Yeah, I think so. I talked to her middle of last week, and she was sickly, but not too sickly.
Yeah, Lisa Scroggins, the president of the Casper Club, has come down with COVID, as has her daughter, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was.
So
They were
just
awaiting
send her-
test, but they were pretty sure last time I talked to
Yeah,
her.
send our best wishes, will you, Alvin?
Absolutely. So
Thank you.
everything else is just kind of, things are happening. There's still some projects going on, but it's mostly just virtual and just hanging in there.
Great. Thanks, Alvin. Appreciate it. Hey, Lynn, up in Gillette. How are you guys doing in Gillette?
We're doing very well, even though our cases have really gone up. We are having a bit of a problem with our hybrid meetings. We don't have very many people that want to do Zoom. Maybe they're just zoomed out because we've had so many meetings on Zoom. But anyway, we don't have a lot. But we are doing hybrid meetings. So there are still a few folks in the Gillette Energy Rotary that meet regularly face-to-face. And the evening Rotary meets face-to-face only. We had our annual Cajun night last week.
Oh, good.
It was pretty well attended. We had a lot of companies who bought tables and then asked that nobody sit at those tables. They wanted people to know that they were being very responsible about COVID. And so we did manage to get the revenue from that, but the attendance was down just a little, not very much, but we made as much money as we have in the past. The evening club has had two fundraisers, one a gingerbread house contest and one their Oktoberfest. Both were very, very well attended. People wore masks, but they had a little trouble social distancing. So it might not have been as good as it could have been. But we just finished our vaccinations for influenza prevention. And so all the kids in the school district were able to get a flu shot if they needed to. And we partnered with the city and with the county health department and home health department at the hospital. We also got a governor's grant for Boots for Kids. So we had a few people apply for boots a month ago when it snowed. And I think we'll probably really get into that in January. One of the big things that we're doing right now, excuse me, is working with Abate. We have done Secret Santa in the past where we all get together and wrap presents. We're not going to do that this year. We're going to just assign a family to do the entire thing. So they're going to buy the gifts, wrap the gifts, and deliver the gifts instead of us all doing it once. But then we're also working with the Abate toy store. So that's all new gifts that everybody just takes and fills the bus. I think they filled the bus 3 times and then take all the toys and put it in their toy store. And then anybody that wants to qualifies can come and pick up toys. So we're still doing lots.
Yes, you are.
We just have scaled back a lot.
Right. Well,
because
great.
of the virus.
Thank you
But
so much, Lynn. Best to everybody in Gillette.
Thank you.
You bet. Scott Daly up in Jackson. How are you doing up there? No audio, Scott. No audio.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Somebody needs to find a geek and direct him my way. The Teton Valley Club has an ongoing project in Western Africa with a club in Mali. Unfortunately, they're on hold not only due to COVID, but also the fact that the government in Mali just got overthrown. So
Oh,
there's a few little problems there, but they're still intending on doing that. The Breakfast Club here in Jackson, they're trying to figure out what their annual fundraiser is going to look like. They always take part in helping to sponsor a sled dog race, and they're trying to figure out how that's going to happen. All the proceeds from that go to childhood immunizations for families that can't afford it. The Supper Club just finished dictionary distributions and is involved in the community Thanksgiving dinner, which due to COVID is going to be curbside this year, and also helps that the president of the Supper Club is also a certified chef, so he's leading that. And then, but the big thing I'd like to brag about is a Noon Club. A couple of weeks ago had their virtual casino night, and with aid of some local grants and things like that. The last figure I heard for local high school scholarships was around $230,000.
good for them.
So they've done an excellent job with that, and a lot of community support, obviously.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it. Ted Cluett from Fort Collins. How are your clubs doing?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Fortunately for me, we've got the Quad Clubs team going where all the presidents meet every month, and we discuss all the interesting things that each club is doing. They're all extremely busy. A lot of them are teaming up with helping out at the food distribution center here in town in Fort Collins, where we're working on supplying food to the firefighters. Of course, we had such a terrible time with the fire here in Colorado. The clubs are going virtual, doing lots of Zoom type meetings, still doing international with the district and their new funds available here in December. A lot of them are applying for sustainable international grants. Rotary After Work has done it. I think we had 3 presentations at the meeting about 2 weeks ago, where applied for funds for sustainable projects throughout the world. Rotary After Work, we normally we have a black tie bingo every year, but unfortunately we couldn't have the bingo, but we had a ton of stuff left over for auctions. So the club will be doing a virtual auction. 5440 clubs can log on, and I think we have 100 items going to be auctioned off, and that's going to be what replace our black tie bingo event. We're also going to do something new this year, since we didn't have the Peach Festival as well. But I think we're going to do where we shred documents. So we're going to have what we call a shred-a-thon, and we'll park a shredding truck in a big parking lot at a church, and people can drive up and contribute money, and will shred their items that they need to have shredding. So there's a lot of creativity going on in the 4 clubs here. Everybody is still very, very busy. Everybody's Zooming it like everybody else around. And we're sort of having a good time trying to stay afloat. I don't hear anybody really having a lot of problems communicating, but all the clubs seem to be excited about doing things just in a different way.
Great. Ted, thank you for that report from Fort Collins. Love it. Joe Aschenbrenner, you're on, I see, from Windsor and Johnstown, Milliken.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. This will be brief. I have a second Zoom meeting on my phone right now, and I have another I've got to go to on this platform in 8 minutes. So I'm just living the dream right now. So Johnstown Milliken, Chris actually zoomed into a meeting yesterday. They're now meeting at a brand new YMCA they built there. It's a gorgeous facility. And they're discovering it's actually more comfortable than Johnson's Corner for a whole lot of things. So they've got their typical fundraiser where they collect cans going on. So they've got money coming in. They're talking about a new event going on there in the city. They're looking at maybe this spring or summer in conjunction with the Y, which will be a community event. So they're really excited about it. They literally just started talking about it yesterday. They've already got somebody who's willing to chair that for their side. So we'll see how that goes forward. Windsor's plugging away, just like everyone else. You know, their membership, because they're full Zoom only also. They're getting maybe half their club to any given meeting. And they're trying to figure out still, just like everybody else is, you know, what can we get done, because people didn't plan for the virus kind of coming back like it has. So they had some plans, and now they've had to kind of shelve those due to the changes. So everybody's kind of up in the air a little bit, but they're still meeting and they're still in good spirits. And they're gonna work something out with what they want to do. But it's just, you know, it's a struggle, and everybody's struggling right now, and it's hard, and you know, there's just a lot of uncertainty. So we'll see what ends up going. But the spirits are high, and we'll just move forward. So
Right.
you know, all you can do is grin and bear it and hope we don't have to deal with this for another 100 years once we get through this. So I guess that's where we're at right now. Thanks.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. Kathy Grousbeck, anything else you want to add about Estes Park?
You are unmuted.
Yes, you are. On your phone. Now I can't hear you, Kathy. I don't know if there's anything there.
Okay, now I'm unmuted, it says.
There you go.
Okay, all right, now it works. Well, the Noon Club is already planning the duck race for next year, which falls on the first Saturday of May, which is May 1st. They are, you know, just because we don't know for sure what will happen with COVID, they are planning a virtual and a live race and or a hybrid of the two. So it's crazy planning for such a thing. But, you know, what else can you do? But we had success this year by doing it virtual. So we may be forced to do that, you know, a month before it starts, just because I have to plan around that. You know, the community service committee met yesterday. I serve on that committee, and they're actually still finding various ways to help people and organizations in town, even though, you know, they can't get out there in person necessarily. But we're helping with Bright Christmas, which is very important for a lot of our at-risk families here in town to be able to celebrate Christmas. So we're participating in that. And the other thing that our club is very interested in doing strongly is donating a good portion of our project funds to the 4 fire departments that we're very, very involved in saving our town and our area. And for instance, the Glen Haven fire department, which is, you watch the news on the fires all the time, man, they were always getting an alert there. And they lost, I think, a fire engine. So, you know, and they're volunteer. So we're going to do all we can. We have a lot of members in our club that live in that area. So, you know, the flood hit them back in 13, big time. Now the fires, you know, we're mountain strong. We do what we have to do. And Rotary is trying to be there, right there for them and do what's needed to step up and help. So that's kind of what we're doing right now.
Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate that.
Sure.
Report. I appreciate everybody's reports. I appreciate all the incredible work that's going on that Rotarians are doing around our district, even in a difficult time. Before we sign off, Kelly, is there anything you wanted to share with anybody?
No, I think I'm good. I'm very happy with the amount of information we've been getting for the district newsletter. I think that this time of the year, it's always kind of backed off, and we've got more than ever coming in. So I'm glad to get information out for the clubs and to everybody else of what you all are doing. It's amazing what they're still accomplishing in these times.
Thank you to you and to Jim Luty for doing such a wonderful job on that newsletter. It really is a wonderful thing to see. So thank you for that. Does anybody else have anything else that they'd like to share with the group before we're done? Yes, Maureen?
I put in the chat just an apology to brag about my own club and to brag about the Noon Club.
Gotcha.
And another challenge I face. Yeah,
Okay.
so thank you.
Thank you for that. Our next scheduled meeting of the leadership group is December the 18th at 9 o'clock. Kelly has already sent out that link to you, but we'll remind you of that. If there's nothing else, I wish you all a very safe and happy Thanksgiving next week. Give our best wishes from everybody in the leadership from the district to your clubs, and we will look forward to seeing you again in a month. If we could have the senior leadership team, Steve and Lee and Cherie and Martin Limbard, stay on when this meeting's done, we'll talk about those new ideas from Rotary. But thanks everybody for spending time with us this morning. It's good to see you, PDG Ken Small.
Good to see you. Thank you very much,
Thanks for
Chris.
being here.
Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care, all.
Take care. Good. Have a great Thanksgiving.